You'll be aware at this point that while Draco the Ruler doesn't claim an alliance to a specific LA gang set, he's got a lot of collaborators, friends, and affiliates who do claim gang sets associated with the neighborhood Crips. And one of these Crip-affiliated Stink Team members is Kells of the Rolling Hundreds. Kells would appear on the song Chunky Monkey with Draco and Ralphie on October the 25th, 2016. A track all about keeping a big gun, or as they call it, a chunky monkey, with Stink Team members dancing around in the music video wearing gorilla masks and toting chunky monkeys. But it would turn out that these chunky monkeys weren't just for showing off in the music video.
Probably don't want to tote the chunky monkeys that you have in music videos and actual crimes.
Yeah, it was clear that the Stink Team would need to protect themselves.
But this is Munchie B versus Draco, No Jumper Curse from Trap Lord Ross.
Around this period, as according to a Fader article, the very month that this video was released, Draco, Ketchy, and Too Shitty of the Stink Team were all shot at in separate incidents. It's still unclear exactly why or who would want to kill the Stink Team, but their ongoing feuds with other Blood Gang associated rappers and their close affiliation with various Crip sets clearly hadn't done them any favors. Whilst Draco's ongoing rivalry with Athens Park Blood RJ was getting a lot of attention because of the music that they were making, it would actually be the neighborhood Crips' ongoing street war with the Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods that would ultimately bring tragedy to the Stink Team. The Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods, or IFGB, or simply Inglewood Family's Gang, IFG, are an LA blood set with a long and storied history. They mainly beef.
Getting into it with Athens Park, end up in Inglewood is crazy. Them two is not close to each other.
With neighborhood Crip gangs like the Rolling 60s and Rolling Hundreds, gang sets which the Stink Team apparently have close affiliations with. And in the streets, one of the biggest names associated with Inglewood is Munchie B, an Inglewood blood with a fearsome reputation in the streets. But his reign as a hardened hitter would be cut short after he was shot in the head and left blind, apparently the result of an internal conflict. But even without his sight, Munchie B would remain an influential figure.
Munchie B and Draco had a very interesting back and forth Tom and Jerry style issue. Very Wile E. Coyote meets the Road Runner
in LA gang politics for years to come. In fact, Munchie B would end up being interviewed alongside fellow Inglewood Bloods, Baby Dot and Red Bull, giving the history of their hood to a channel called Street TV.
Munchie B, Inglewood Family Gangsters. Red Bull, non-deuce Inglewood Family. Somebody put up on the side of my car and let off a gang of shots. You know what I mean? So I ended up taking a shot to the head. Shit, but unfortunately, I ended up losing my sight.
And during that interview, this trio of Inglewood Bloods would also explain their connections to DJ Mustard and YG.
Yeah, it go way back to the chain game before it's Inglewood Family.
Yeah, and the dude Red Bull, that's the dude who, God bless the dead, God bless his soul, unfortunately lost his life.
Called the chain gang. All these LA-based rappers, we pretty much all partied together before they blew up, though. The boy Ty, Mustard, YG, J305.
So with the rivalry between the Stink Team and DJ Mustard, YG, and RJ heating up off the back of diss tracks, you can see why there's a lot of interconnected reasons why the Bloods and the Stinks aren't going to get along. And to make matters worse, it would later emerge that Stink Team member Kells had an active feud with Red Bull, the Inglewood Family Blood, who had appeared alongside Munchie B in that Street TV interview. Red Bull allegedly also had a serious reputation when it came to Inglewood gang politics, but sadly, Red Bull would eventually run into the Stink Team with deadly consequences. Because on Saturday, the 10th of December 2016, several members of the Stink Team, including Kells and Draco, were chilling at Draco's house. And it was here that Draco would see...
Now, it's unfortunate because you never want to see these types of situations that are literally over nothing. You niggas is arguing over rap songs and over who made this song or who made this beat, or you diss me, or you don't want to work with me, or you making music and you pop it and I'm not popping, whatever the case is, over the idiocy. And you've lost 2 lives, Draco and the Red Bull guy. So God bless everybody's family involved. God bless, the family of Red Bull. God bless the family of Draco the Ruler. God bless the family of Kells, who's incarcerated because his life is gone now too. So you have all these lives just lost over flu flammers, skullduggeries, and larcenous activity. You feel me?
What was later described as a pay-for-entry pajama party advertised on Instagram, with Draco rallying the Stink Team to go from his place to the party, with plans for 17-year-old Crip affiliate Arlington Blue, aka AB, real name Jaden Boyd, planning to join the Stink Team en route. The whole crew would travel in a 5-car convoy to the party in Carson, around 15 minutes away from Draco's apartment, with the crew arriving to the area and parking their cars. At some point, Too Shitty from the Stink Team approaches Draco's car to tell him that members from Inglewood families are there, with Draco apparently suggesting at this point that the crew leave. However, within seconds, Red Bull from Inglewood, real name Davon Gregory, would walk past the Stink Team. This was a completely chance encounter. with Red Bull apparently being spotted at the wrong place in the wrong time by his opposition. With Kells and AB, the neighborhood Crips that were also in the stink team, who had an active feud with Red Bull and the Inglewood families, pulling pistols and opening fire as soon as they saw him. The shooting erupted at around 11:30 p.m., leaving 2 unrelated people injured, and Red Bull shot numerous times, sadly later losing his life.
Shots were fired at a birthday party in Carson. 3 men were hit and one of them has now died. The shooting happened just before.
And again, imagine you niggas going to a lingerie party. Y'all finna go to a party where it's nothing but TNA and y'all get into it with each other? Absolutely barnacles. Absolutely barnacles.
Before midnight in the 100 block of West Victoria Street, the shootout was just in front of the building that housed the party. Deputies say as many as 100 people were attending what they describe as a pay-for-entry adult-themed party.
These women told me about 30 young men showed up after the party started and were turned away because they didn't have IDs and some had guns. Something happened in the parking lot, shots were fired, and the next thing that these 2 women told me that they knew was that someone who had been shot in the parking lot ran back into the party.
After the shooting, Kells turned to Draco and bragged of how he emptied his entire clip into Red Bull. And apparently following the shooting, the stink team jumped back into their cars, driving back to Draco's apartment in complete silence, with the group apparently being unaware that Red Bull had even died until they saw it on the news at 3 a.m. the next day. A vigil for Red Bull would take place in his hood the next day, with the local police moving dirty and targeting the event, shooting somebody and arresting a whopping 10 people.
We have learned that 10 people who were at the gathering have been arrested. They say the event was a memorial for a 24-year-old man killed at a party in Carson Saturday night. NBC4 covered that as well. But last night, around 10:30, LAPD says 2 units from the Gang Enforcement Division out of Southeast Station approached a group of about 30 people outside a home on 19.
Now, again, all this is going on at somebody's house. You feel me? All this is going on at somebody's house. All this is going on in somebody, residence and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not sure, again, why we're having all this going on, but, whatever.
9th Street, west of Figueroa.
I honestly, I can't tell you. I could think of in life, I went to the homegirl Candace's house party in high school, and she lived in Artesia. And that party ended up getting powed up. And I remember she had a wooden gate. And I remember kicking the gate off the hinges because it was for whatever reason we couldn't get the gate open. Man, I remember kicking that gate off the hinges and sliding up out of there because it was pow in the front. I kicked the gate off the hinges in the back, and I kept bailing. Her gate was messed up for years. But you feel me? I got up out of there. I don't stay to see how it happens. That's one house party. I can remember going to my homie Coleman's party. He had a party in Cerritos. No problems ever happened at Coleman's house. But I will also say this too. Coleman was a big old dude, and all his homies was like hella big. So if you went into Coleman's house tripping, you was gonna get whooped out because they was all like linemen of the football team, but they was all hella cool and they stuck close. You feel me? So it was never problems at Coleman's house. My homegirl Natalie had a party in Cerritos for after prom, but that wasn't nothing because her people was there, so that was cool. And they was letting us, they wasn't letting us, but we was smoking and booty bamming and all that kind of stuff. But high school stuff. But we was doing like at the house, and her people was clearly there. You feel me? Like, and I think honestly, and I remember niggas did start fighting at that, and her daddy came outside and said, "If y'all gonna fight somebody, fight me, or y'all go back in there and enjoy y'all night." And that's how the fight stopped. The dad said, "Either y'all gonna fight," and they're like, "We'll go to the park." He goes, "Bet, let's go." And the dad was willing to go with niggas to the park and fight, or y'all can go enjoy yourselves because he just wanted everybody to have fun. He wasn't tripped like you fighting for what, you feel me? But I say all that to say I've never. The last pool party I went to was when Kid Cali got alive. Yeah, man, God bless. I've never gone to too many house parties, and then y'all seen what happened with me at the pool party. Niggas don't like marathon burgers, so niggas be having attitude towards marathon burgers or marathon burger supporters. So that happened, but I never really been a big house partier.
LAPD describes a gathering.
I don't think that I've ever gone to a house party in the city of Los Angeles ever. Like ever. I always knew better than to do that. Like you got to put me in like Cerritos. You got to put me in like La Palma. You got to put me in like Cypress. Somewhere with a fast police response time. You see where I'm going for? You know what? I'm lying. I went to one when you going down Centinela across from the old Village Resort to the right. Yeah, but nah, I never. Nope, no house parties for me, man. And then I remember how many homies got whooped. I remember A2I, all the Addicted to Ink. I remember all them parties and all that kind of stuff. But you know what, too? Also, I say this with white people. I was living different. I wasn't trying to do that. I had a party at home. You got something to say? I had parties at the house, so I'm gonna just leave that right there. But I was living good. I was living good, man. I was living good. Now I'm living better. As long as I don't look at you, I don't have to acknowledge anything. I'm just
as a party, and says as officers approached, some of the people in the group started running away. What one man allegedly pulled a gun and shot at the officers. They were not hit, but one at least returned fire.
Red Bull's friend Baby Dot, who had appeared in that Street TV interview with him alongside Munchie B, would later speak on his friend's passing in a follow-up interview.
He was up there chilling, standing in line, and some shit jumped off, and he happened to be one of the people who happened to take the downfall for him, man. Well, that shit hit close, man. Like, Red Bull was like the first homie I lost in a long time that I was actually really close with. Once you lose that certain person that's damn near like a brother to you, it hit a little harder than home.
Munchie B would also mourn the loss of Red Bull, later releasing an emotional tribute song to him called R.I.P. RB. Now, initially, detectives didn't have anything to link Red Bull's murder to the Stink Team, and after the shooting went down, Draco would return to music and go on to drop some of the best songs of his career. Problem is, he probably didn't realize that he was leaving evidence behind at every turn. On December the 16th, 2016, Draco's new song Bully Breaker drops, with detectives later saying that it was this music video that helped them find the location of Draco's apartment. And then, just over a week after that, Draco would drop another music video filmed in his apartment, The Impatient Freestyle. The December 18th, 2016 music video would go on to be the most viewed music video of Draco's career, racking up over 31 million YouTube views to date. And the video for Impatient featured Draco and his crew posted up in his apartment, showing off a bunch of big guns, as well as scenes filmed in a parking garage, as always showing off his beloved Mercedes GLE Coupe. The song itself included thugged out lyrics all about guns, shootings, and a line where he literally says, if you want to represent the Stink Team, you
that nigga said coupe. It's a coupe, fool. The E silent. Turn it down, puppy. The E is silent. The E is silent. But this is also the same nigga that said, he didn't say Centinela. He said Catanilla, or some shit like that. And then he also said, what else did Traveler Ross say? The Pablos instead of the Pueblos. But was you listening when he said like Catanilla Park or Catanilla Park or some shit like that? Like Centinela, nigga. Traveler Ross, you gotta stay away from LA gang culture, brother.
To hop out the car and kill someone. Following this, Draco's third mixtape, So Cold I Do 'Em, dropped on Christmas Day 2016. The mixtape featured a front cover, once again sporting Draco's signature Mercedes SUV. It was a great mixtape, but unfortunately for Draco, that Mercedes SUV that he'd been putting in his music videos and on the cover of his tapes, and bragging about on Twitter, matched the description of a vehicle that was seen leaving the scene of Red Bull's murder. And very soon, the feds would come knocking for the Stink Team, ready to do everything in their power to take them down. On the 31st of December 2016, Draco drops the Flex Freestyle. This is a remix of RJ's song Flex, a retaliation to RJ remixing Draco's song on Warning, and it features a...
Okay, so, but here's the thing though, with Draco and RJ, it was just back and forth banter. So because we know that it was just back and forth banter, you know, that's kind of where that stopped and started. They kept it rap. I'm not sure why it had to go past rap. I mean, we see the situation with Red Bull, God bless his soul, but that seems more like him and the other dude may have had an issue that would have went on with or without Draco, considering their political ties and their political influences and their political structures. So I don't know, man. I think that's you feel me? But let's continue on.
lyric where Draco says that he has RJ tied up in the back of his car. This was a pretty inane lyric aiming to poke fun at a rival, but sadly it would come back to haunt Draco massively. Because while Draco was recording music and videos, trying to push his rap career forward, local police were watching his videos and reading his lyrics, intensely looking for clues to connect the Stink team to the December 10th murder of Red Bull. And soon they would have the connection that they needed. Because at this point, all the cops had were bullets and shell casings from 38 and 40 caliber pistols, as well as surveillance footage and witnesses placing a Mercedes SUV at the scene. However, at some point, detectives working the case hear Draco's name mentioned on an unrelated wiretap, plus the victim's family telling cops that they heard rumors that Draco was somehow involved in the murder. This was apparently all that was needed to tie Draco to the crime, and at this point the cops decided to close in. Only a couple of days after the Flex freestyle, one day after Draco's son was born, and one day after New Year's on the 2nd of January 2017, the members of the Stink team are all hanging out at the LA condo where Draco had filmed his earlier Impatient freestyle and the Bully Breaker music video. According to later court documents, Draco's distinctive Mercedes being parked outside alerted the cops that he was indeed in the property. Draco's apartment was then raided by the SWAT team, who found Draco's family and the Stink team in the house in the presence of a number of firearms. The cops would arrest Draco and his homies, including his...
Imagine the cops driving by and being like, yep, that's that nigga's car right there. That's the same one from the music video. Ugly one.
Brother Ralphie the Plug, with Draco receiving 6 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, with Draco later telling DJ Vlad that he racked up a total of 9 counts that day.
Every single one.
How many guns?
Only one. 9.
So all 9 guns, they said, were yours?
Yeah, every single one.
And apparently even Draco's mother and sister were there, getting arrested alongside a whole bunch of the Stink team members.
My mom, my sister, Too Shitty, his baby mama, and Bambino, Solo, my brother. It was a lot of people.
How many bedrooms that condo had? Golly!
Nothing connecting Draco or the Stink team to the murder of Red Bull was found that day, and apparently the guns that were found in the property were not the ones used in the murder of Red Bull. But regardless, Draco would still be headed to jail, with rap blogs beginning to position him as LA's Gucci Mane. Fortunately, Draco was able to continue to release music and music videos from behind bars, with pre-recorded tracks like Cocoon releasing publicly over this period. In a February 2017 interview with LA Weekly from jail, Draco said he was optimistic about his release and vowing to hit the studio as soon as he got home. But perhaps he shouldn't have been so optimistic, because while Draco was remaining solid in his cell, the same couldn't be said about some of his Stink team brethren. After being arrested, Stink team member Too Shitty is placed into a cell with an undercover informant, who's planted there wearing a wire specifically to gather information about Red Bull's murder. Now, this is part of a controversial strategy where the local detectives take advantage of a loophole where they're allowed to send in
Calling that man Too Itty is crazy. That is a sick name.
jailhouse informants undercover as long as it's done before suspects are formally charged. It's a slippery tactic, but it sure does work, as it was later revealed in court that Too Shitty had spilled the beans to this informant completely, admitting directly to the undercover that the shooter was that 17-year-old Crip called AB, or Arlington Blue, real name Jaden Boyd, the Rolling 40s Crip who had accompanied the Stink team to that party. After Too Shitty's confession, AB is then arrested himself and placed into a cell with another undercover informant, posing as an OG Crip. And once again, AB confesses the crime and many specific details to this undercover snitch, with a 1-hour, 22-minute recording of their conversation even being played to the court. During this conversation, AB admitted outright that he shot Red Bull with the .38 pistol, as well as saying that it was Kells shooting with the .40 Glock. AB even admitted that he had been actively beefing with Red Bull over this period and had planned to shoot him on sight, even going as far as to break down why he used a .38 pistol specifically so that he didn't
saying that it's a shell catcher so he don't make a mess with that thing, man.
leave behind shell casings. I mean, he literally admitted to the undercover directly that he got caught on.
That is incredible. Incredible, man. At some point, y'all got to exercise your right to remain silent.
Camera smoking somebody. He admitted shooting the man directly 2 times, but denied shooting him in the head, quite literally saying definitively that he popped Kerr. Now, during this conversation, AB
Pop Kerr.
he only incriminated himself and Kells, essentially saying nothing to implicate Draco. And as far as Draco's concerned, at this point, it really should have been case closed, because the 2 shooters had been identified specifically, and there wasn't a single mention of Draco's role in the murder to be found at all. In fact, during this time, the cops even tried to put an undercover informant into Draco's cell too, with a 1.5-minute recording captured within Draco's cell revealing absolutely nothing. Because there was nothing to speak of. From start to finish, it appeared clearly established that AB and Kells killed Red Bull in a split-second decision, with Draco apparently completely unaware of what was going to unfold that night. So, the cops would have no choice but to let Draco go. for now. But sadly, they would hold a grudge. And only after a few months of freedom, the cops would return to try and pull off a tricky maneuver, using flimsy evidence and a convoluted case to take Draco off the streets once again, this time at the height of his fame.
Man, now this situation between Draco and Kels and Red Bull and all that, again, man, so much lost talent, and is you know what I'm saying? You just, man, just so much lost talent, so much lost music, so much lost love within families and all that. You never know how our landscape could have been different and them dudes would have been allowed to thrive and been allowed to, you know, shape their own careers in ways that would have been for the betterment of themselves and not just being detrimental.
Draco would spend 10 months in jail before eventually being released on bail in November 2017. And as soon as he's released from jail, Draco gets out and spends around 10 days in the studio recording 16 tracks for his new mixtape, Cold Devil, which releases on December the 26th, 2017. This mixtape was the biggest release of Draco's career to date, cementing him as one of LA's foremost independent street rappers. Pitchfork reviewed the album positively, calling it the most compelling release of his career, and Draco backed up the tape with music videos of the most compelling songs. Flu Flamming was Draco's flagship anthem of being a home invader targeting the Asian community, laced with tongue-in-cheek lyrics about Mei Ling taking him shopping. He had other classic tracks like Big Bank Uchis and Out the Slums with Oh Free Greedo, with the videos for these tracks racking up millions of views and cementing Draco's place as one of LA's most popping rappers. But naturally, this didn't stop the haters, as people like former collaborator Scheme were releasing diss tracks aimed at Draco shortly after his release, but Draco wouldn't let the haters stop him, and he would continue promoting himself and his career. On December the 14th, 2017, Draco popped up alongside his brother Ralphie the Plug.
Now, when it came to Draco beating these charges, he didn't make any bones by coming out and then continuously antagonizing and throwing shots at his opposing factors, so I could definitely see why they weren't feeling him. I could definitely see why they weren't liking the campaign that Draco had going on. But at the same time, too, that is the nature of the beast. And unfortunately, this is just how it goes, man.
For his first major interview since being released from jail on No Jumper with Adam 22. And during this interview, he touched on a lot of interesting things, telling Adam about his intense withdrawals going cold turkey from codeine-based cough syrup whilst in jail, and detailing his massive weight loss as a result.
Oh yeah, suffering, sweating, looking like a heroin addict and that motherfucker. Bitch, you gonna tell me? So you got a little scoot here. What you were doing in there?
She got you like a crystal head.
Draco also touched on people dissing him while he was in jail, acknowledging that his former friend Scheme had turned on him, and saying that RJ had been telling his crowds to hate on Draco.
Scheme, who was your homie before? You had songs before with him, right?
Yeah, I know. And then especially like I guess
they'll get
Shout out to Scheme.
no cloud.
A lot of people want to know about the beef with you and RJ.
oh no, that before he was going all over the town and shit, making posters and signs and shit at the shows.
Yeah.
Draco. He'd start off his show like, let me hear y'all say Draco.
Draco would actually go on to say that him and RJ settled their beef before he went to jail.
But yeah, that shit over now though. That shit over.
It's over?
Yeah.
Like you guys talked about it or something?
Yeah, I seen him. He said that we both from the West and represent the West, and we both can't be beefing and all this other shit.
And he would end his interview by saying that he wants to stay away from guns and stay out of jail.
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. You know, no guns, no videos, nothing like that.
No guns in the video?
I would imagine that after all this, he stopped putting guns in his videos. I would imagine after all this that he's learned a lesson about brandishing firearms in the content space. It's probably not the best thing you should do.
Videos.
And
That's a big change right there.
Super Soaker 3000 or something.
It was good to see Draco taking positive steps since his release. And from here, he would continue pushing his career forward and racking up big wins. On December the 19th, he did a big sold-out show at the Observatory. And on December the 28th, 2017, him and Ralphie would release their new song, The Right Decision, where spray paint shown on a wall in the opening shot would reveal graffiti saying "Free Drakey, fuck Too Snitchy," a reference to the Stink Team member Too Shitty slipping up and telling a prison house informant the details of the Red Bull murder.
Damn it. Gotta exercise your right to remain silent.
But sadly, once again, this, just like many other references to street goings on in Draco's songs and music videos, would end up being used against him by detectives, with the public diss towards a cooperating Stink Team member apparently being interpreted by detectives as witness intimidation, which they tried to use to escalate the charges against Draco.
Somebody had tagged
Too
Snitchy about a guy who was Stink Team that had given some information to the police. So they tagged the witness intimidation with a gang enhancement. So now these guys are facing life in prison.
So while Draco had spent the months between December 2017 and March 2018 focused on his career and building his fan base, the cops would be building their case, taking notes on everything.
Yeah, man, you can't sit in themselves bragging about your crimes, bro. They'll put somebody in there with you to accost you. You haven't learned.
That Draco said or did over this period, trying to twist it to use it against him. And it would appear that eventually they decided to strike Draco down once again, this time at the very peak of his career, as the mainstream media would finally pay attention to this LA legend in the making in a comprehensive LA Times piece covering Draco's come-up being published in March 2018. An interview ironically starting out discussing Draco's previous release from jail, describing his 2017 stint behind bars as an 11-month iron vacation for multiple counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And in a tragic case of famous last words, with Draco saying in that article that he thought that his time in prison would have been much worse. Perhaps it was arrogant comments like this that had the cops itching to put Draco back into jail, this time under much harsher conditions.
Yeah, and I can definitely see how if you're getting out and then you're antagonizing the police and they feel like they didn't adequately do their job or you didn't adequately get the time that they wanted you to have, you'll now be a target for investigation, flu flam, skullduggs, and larceny. And now the cops are going to be on your head for everything.
Because around 2 weeks after that interview had taken place, quite literally just days after this LA Times story went public, Draco would be arrested for possession of a firearm once again. Draco was brought to the police station where he weirdly said that the cops were playing his music, before then being taken to court where Draco said that he apparently had no idea what was going on, at which point prosecutors dropped the shocking bomb on him that he was being charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with Red Bull's death. These would be serious charges, and beating them would be no easy feat. But it wasn't just Draco in trouble. Other members of the Stink Team were arrested as part of this case, like Ralphie and Ketchy, who were arrested in San Francisco whilst on tour with Shoreline Mafia, with the cops apparently using their Instagram posts to locate them. And Ralphie would later elaborate being caught up in this sudden Stink Team sweep in an interview on No Jumper.
Wait, where'd they get you?
From San Francisco.
So you went all the way up there just to get arrested for shit in LA?
Thinking we cool, we Instagram, playing 2K and shit. As soon as we check in, they open the door, I'm laying on the bed, I look up, man, police coming, I'm like,
Man, that gotta be the worst, man. Laying in bed, minding your own business, and then here come policia.
It's some bullshit. Homies laying outside,
Right.
towels and shit, no clothes on and shit. I thought I was supposed to be on tour. He drove all the way out there for 9 hours just to drive back 12 hours on the bus.
So with the Stink Team firmly behind bars, Draco would have to prepare for the fight of his life. A full-blown murder charge where the worst possible outcome might just be life in prison or even the death penalty. Aside from openly discussing his personal...
Why the hell is Trap Lord Ross dressed like Crit Mac? And then it says, what do he got on his forehead? Tuber, unaliver? What do they say? What the hell? Tuber, unaliver? Yeah, Trap Lord Ross, you bugging, my boy. I'm not sure what the hell you got going on with this one, brother, but we're going to let you have it by yourself.
Know what it is. I was with Rich Trapper. I fucks with you.
Warning, this video is for satire, educational, and comedy use only. It is not intended to be actual fact, nor is it intended to give real meaning to any of the questions you ponder about later.
Carjack 100 here! If you need your transmission check, come on down to Carjack's! I'm your transmission expert!
I'm glad that you enjoyed that content. We heard the cries, we heard the complaints. Now we don't got no intro, but we do got an outro with the same information, man. Make sure that you are tapped in. Make sure you dropping comments. Make sure you dropping likes. Make sure you subscribing to everything we have going on here at TNN Trap News Network, because we will be giving away some more Chiliana once we hit that 40,000 membership, 40,000 subscriber, threshold. We're gonna make sure that we give y'all some Chiliana, man. So make sure that y'all stay tapped in. Make sure y'all stay looking out. Make sure y'all stay right here at TNN Trap News Network. The news you can use, the knowledge you're not finna get in nobody's college. Hit a like, hit a comment, hit a good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. We're gonna keep you updated on what's going on these YouTube streets. You already know the deal, man. If you enjoyed this content, throw the red dot to the left. You know the rest. We gone.
Hi, I'm Whack 100. When I'm not snitching on the internet, I'm snitching in real life. For your own personal home security, call 1-800-WACK-ATTACK. We're first, law enforcement second. Hey, I'm Adam22. Got an extra soul laying around? Be like Doughboy and Whack 100 and sell yours today. One soul equals a lot of clout.
Apollo Texas. It's dangerous. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Work all in the floorboard. Tell the ops check the scoreboard. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. And if you shoot, you ain't miss. A nigga ball like game 6. A nigga ball like game 6.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we didn't get from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Missy with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
Game 60 bands on my neck when I got it on me. And I remember I was broke, I never let him hold me. Final seconds with my back against the wall. 81 point strong with this K, I call it Kobe. Running through this lettuce, nothing you can tell us. Nothing. Gotta watch my back, I know that they get jealous. Real shit, I got rich, ain't gotta embellish. Real life made men, they call us good fellas. And I ain't got anxiety, I know it's intuition. May never love a bitch, but I for sure play my position. I know the streets talking, I'm cracking, so I ain't tripping. I said I play for keeps, but I guess them niggas ain't listening. Sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Shoot like Curry and I can't miss. Nah, you can't come outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we didn't get from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Missy with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
I've been winning, tell my ops check the scoreboard. Money in the attic, work all in the floorboard. Late night, that's the life that we pray for. Overtime with the pack is what we in the game for. Put myself in the game and everything is just a memory. Just made a couple plays for the pain, not an enemy. Gotta watch my friends more, I gotta watch the enemies. Fake is hella fake, I know we're enemies' intentions. I let it go until it click if I'm an aiming. Started staying safe and ended up staying dangerous. Game on the line, see the pressure I can take. Hall of Fame shit, so if it's mine, I'ma take. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Niggas shoot like Curry and I can't miss. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we didn't get from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Missy with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we didn't get from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Missy with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
Safe like Jordan, call it game 6. Shoot like Curry and I can't miss. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas always inside when it's dangerous. Shoot like Curry and I can't miss. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.